We've rethought what a phone or a tablet or a laptop or a watch could be. But today at Apple, we're going to reinvent another major product category. In fact, it's so seamless and well optimized that I'm actually wearing it right now. Yes, that's right. Today,
I can't believe it's
Apple reinvents the ring.
What?
One ring to rule them all.
That's not what I thought.
For $5 a month.
Kim wants to marry us?
I've never really talked much about smart rings on this channel, and I gotta admit the main reason was I never really saw the point. I was like, what the heck is that ring gonna do that a smartwatch can't already do? I always feel like these days we're making things smart or AI powered that don't need to be, like a GPT powered bicycle or a smart microwave. What the heck is a smart microwave supposed to do? I gotta put my food in it anyway. Why would I try to control it from far away? I don't know. So I was complaining, as I normally do on Twitter, and got a lot of feedback from people explaining to me how wrong I was about smart rings and how they bring a lot of health tracking data and health information to people who don't want to buy a smartwatch for any particular reason. My issue with that was the Aura smart ring, kind of the go-to ring everybody thinks of when we talk smart rings, is not that much cheaper than an Apple Watch. In fact, you can probably find some refurbished Apple Watches for cheaper than that ring, and it requires a membership to activate a ton of different features. And I was just like, for that kind of money, just get a watch. But other people argued, well, some people don't want a smartwatch because they want better battery life, or they don't want a big honking computer rattling around on the wrist all the time. And these smart rings tend to have more like week-long battery lives instead of day-long batteries, and it's a lot smaller, it's a lot more elegant to wear than a smartwatch is, especially if you do lots of sleep tracking. And many people were explaining to me that they wore their smartwatch during the day, but then let the watch charge at nighttime, and then they would switch to the ring for sleep tracking because it can still measure a decent amount of health data. So all of these things coming together alongside some leaks and rumors suggesting that Apple has some patents on smart ring technology begs the question, okay, well, if we're looking for new product categories for Apple to jump into, why not a smart ring, right? Like, why not jump into this field? Apple's got efficient silicon, they've got state-of-the-art health tracking data that they absolutely did not steal from Massimo. Just like how Apple reinvented the tile tracker with the AirTag, how is Apple gonna reinvent the Aura smart ring with a new, Apple Fitness membership or something to go along with it? Well, the only thing I think they would have to be very careful about is product cannibalization, because as you all recall, I was very passionate about the idea of iPads gaining more Mac-like features, especially when it came to software, and we just never saw Apple go anywhere in regards to iPadOS. It was separated from iOS years ago, and it honestly made it worse. It made it feel like Apple could come up with lots of features that they promised to their iPhone users, but now, because iPadOS has a different name, we don't have to bring those same features to iPadOS, and pretty much the software just gets hand-me-down upon hand-me-down, and I was begging for them to just let me dual boot macOS on there, but, of course, an iPad is supposed to be just an iPad, so it was wrong of me to expect a $2,000 machine to have a calculator app and optimized battery charging. But a lot of the time, people's main motivation for telling me as to why Apple is not comfortable with the iPad running macOS is they don't want too much product overlap with each other. They want the Mac to do the Mac thing and the iPad to do the iPad thing, which is media consumption and note-taking with the Apple Pencil, I guess. So the danger here with a smart ring potentially coming from Apple is it eating into a lot of the motivation to buy an Apple Watch, and especially now with the Apple Watch SE starting at $250, not even to mention in the used and refurbished market you can find them for much cheaper than that. How would a smart ring start to eat in to Apple Watch sales? And there's a lot less capability here, so Apple, to justify having a smart ring in the lineup of any kind, I'm guessing the price would have to be pretty low, and that's likely why Aura is trying to make so much money through their membership, because they know there's not a lot of profits to be made in the hardware sales themselves. Apple wants to be more of a services company. Tim Cook has been trying to pivot them for a while now. Maybe I could see Tim Cook getting on board the whole membership train where the ring itself is pretty cheap, but in order to get it to function and operate properly, everybody is basically expected to pay a membership fee for it. It gives a huge reason for a big chunk of the market to not consider buying an Apple Watch anymore, or maybe get your health data through the ring, but go back to your old-fashioned, more classy watches that, last years on a charge. Does Apple want to open the door for that kind of potential product cannibalization? Because I personally don't think that the margins on an Apple smart ring would be anywhere near as good as they are on Apple Watches, because a lot of people are spending $400, $500, some of those ultra buyers up there, $800 on their Apple Watches, and I'm sure, knowing how Apple's bill of materials works, they're still probably making a couple $100 per sale on those watches, even without the blood oxygen level sensor. So they'd be lucky to kind of price match with Aura and charge, $300 for a ring, and hopefully they make it back through a $5, $10 a month subscription. But I don't know, honestly. I think this could be a bit of a stretch, and it could result in a lot more people feeling like, why do I need to bother with an Apple Watch? I think the ring is more minimal, and something about it feels very Steve Jobs-esque, just like that whole unveiling concept of like, oh, I had it on all along. I'm all in favor of Apple entering into more product categories. I'll do another video on that shortly, but the smart ring concept, which we've seen some smaller companies kind of pioneer, and Samsung tease with the whole Galaxy Ring idea, it makes me wonder if it's the type of thing that Apple would consider, or Apple would know, yeah, we could do that, but it's just gonna eat into other product sales a little bit too much. Whereas Samsung, they ship a million different kinds of products a year, so they don't care. They make washing machines and microwaves. I wish Apple would make a washing machine. That sounds kind of awesome, to be honest. But what do you guys think of the concept of smart rings? Do you think it's worth Apple pursuing? I could honestly see the whole activity ring thing going hand in hand with the design. You could make an Apple ring that's the same colors as the activity rings. Just another way to access the activity app and maybe still have Fitness Plus features. But how would they have to price it for it to be worth it in your guys' mind? And would it cannibalize Apple Watch sales too much? I don't know, but let's speculate along together. I think it would, so I don't think Apple's gonna do it. But feel free to disagree with me down in the comments below, and thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. Seriously, helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos, so thanks again. This is your Absolute Pure, and I will see you all in the next one.